You're listening to Stories to Create with your host, Cornell Bunting. Author, motivational speaker, and founder of EHAS Each Episode. Cornell sits down with inspiring voices to uncover the stories that shape who we are and who we're becoming. Get ready to listen, learn, and be inspired. The show starts now.
Yes. Welcome to another episode of Stories to Create podcast right here at EHAS CLUB. I'm your host, Cornell Bunting. I am so excited right now because finally, world, you guys get to hear from the voice that you guys were like, who is that beautiful intro of your show? She is here, people. She is a woman of so much talent, poetry. She's even in the medical world. But I just want to introduce her to you guys as Dreeme. Welcome.
Thank you. I'm so glad to be here finally as well. Long time coming.
Long time coming. This is good. You recently was out of state. Where were you?
Let me see. Last place I was Atlanta.
Atlanta, okay.
Yeah, for skate-a-thon.
Man, you under skating. Yeah. When did you start skating?
So I started skating when I was a child. In New York, I would skate, but it was just like to get places.
Ooh.
But then, during COVID, I started seeing people on social media take up skating, and I was like, I should get some skates and start skating again. So I did that, and I went to the local rink and joined this group and started learning how to actually like dance skate and rhythm skate. And it's a big joy of mine. It's a stress reliever. It's good for exercise, and I enjoy it. I mean, a lot of good people.
I like that. So normally what we do with our guests on the show, we take our listeners back. So we want to take our listeners back to the you before Dreeme. Like, who is Dreeme before Dreeme? Like, where you were born, grew up, what was that upbringing?
Okay, so, I was born in Brooklyn, New York.
Okay.
I'm a big representative of Brooklyn, as everybody who knows me knows. But I was raised in Brooklyn, New York, in Crown Heights.
Crown Heights,
Brooklyn, yeah.
How close is that to Flatbush?
Pretty close. It's like maybe a 10, 15-minute walk.
Okay.
So, I was a good little student, and
good little student.
But a lot of times I would get bored in classes. I think I felt like my brain was always moving faster than the teachers.
Okay. And
so while the teachers were giving their lectures and things like that, I would be writing in the back of my notebook.
Oh my goodness!
Writing poems and stories.
So you was kind of a rebel, or not really?
A little bit. A little bit. In case my mother hears this, later on I became that. Maybe it wasn't a great thing in some ways, but yeah.
This is good. So you had a lot of friends back then, like in school, where you made trouble with, or not really?
No. I was a loner. I felt like a lot of people didn't really get my way of thinking, and it was very kind of abstract. So I had like maybe one or two close friends, but generally I kind of did my own thing.
Oh wow! Yeah. Mm-hmm. So you ate lunch and all that stuff by yourself?
Well, I had friends for those things.
Okay.
Like I had people I would sit with, like my associates, but people I was really hanging out with was kind of like, I was like kind of doing my own thing.
Okay. Yeah. I like that. Mm-hmm. So you did elementary, middle school, high school in New York.
Mm-hmm. I did all of my schooling there, and in junior high school, my major was dance, and that was a big thing for me, a big passion of mine. I wanted to go to LaGuardia High School, which is a school for performing arts, but I didn't get in. Okay. And so then I was like, okay, I'll just pursue the health field. And so I went into a high school for health professions.
Right.
And that led me to my profession now, but my passion was always the arts. Always the arts.
So you got into dancing. Well, I mean, how extreme does the training get? Like when you get in to figure out which style you're gonna be using.
Well, the class that I was in New York in my junior high school was intermediate repertory. So it was like all different kinds of dance. We had African, classical, jazz, modern. All of that was in that that area. So I got to be exposed to all of that, and then I even got to dance with Alvin Ailey Dance School some time. Yeah.
Wow.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Which style would you say is your favorite?
Probably, I'd say modern.
Yeah.
And then maybe African.
Okay.
Yeah, because I tend to lean a lot towards Caribbean music because my stepfather was Trini, so so I feel like I was raised a Caribbean child.
You mix with a little bit of that Caribbean blood in you. Wow.
In a way.
Now, in Brooklyn, because you do have somewhat of a Trini society up there, too.
Oh, yeah.
Right?
Well, my neighborhood was all Caribbean. Like, my mother's from Scotland. Okay. She was, like, the only person of Caucasian descent in the neighborhood. Like, I was the only kid with, a white mom.
Wow.
So, and all my neighbors were Jamaican, Trini, Guyanese.
Yeah.
So I would come home and smell like curry chicken cooking in the elevator, and like that was normal for me. So I feel like I was, raised more that than African American, which my father was.
Right. Wow, that is amazing. So you've kind of learned a lot of that Caribbean culture from early.
From early, yes.
Ooh, so you learned to cook as well.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
What?
Yeah. And so, and like the Labor Day parade, the West Indian Labor Day parade was right up the street from my house. So, so it's, big Caribbean influence in my life. And even up to now, like my favorite music is Caribbean. It's like soca, calypso, reggae, dancehall.
Wow.
Yeah, that's my favorite.
I like that. So what would you say is your favorite food to cook?
Probably be Caribbean food, like Trini food or like soul food.
Okay.
I don't eat meat, so that's a little harder to do. I have to try and find alternatives, but sometimes I just have that taste for like some curry chicken and dumplings or some kalu, and that's what I'm making.
She said the dumplings, people.
Yeah.
This is good.
You know, yeah.
So you're in dance, and you kind of took a liking to it, and so was there any college or?
So not at that point. Mm-hmm. I didn't even graduate high school. That's where my rebellion probably came in. I was like, I got very bored in school, and I was like kind of just, and it's not like I was doing anything bad, but I just didn't want to go to school.
I see.
And so I didn't graduate, and I got my GED. Okay. And then I went into school for nursing.
Oh, okay. Nice. Mm-hmm. Nice. Now, because, you're in the medical world right now, but at what point did you decide, you know what, I'm leaving New York, I'm moving to Florida?
When I would watch the Weather Channel and see that we were always like 40 degrees less than Florida. And I was like, I knew I was not meant to live in a cold climate. At least at that point in my life, I was like, I liked heat. And so I would visit like mostly the East Coast of Florida often. And I was like, I got to figure out a way to get down there. And then I came down, and I like hot weather. Yeah. New York has a lot more to do. But the heat.
The heat is here.
Yeah, I like that.
You need to be around the heat.
Yeah, I like that.
I like that. What was, growing up with a white mom and an African American dad?
So back then, that wasn't that common. Right. And so sometimes I hate to say, like, sometimes I would be a little like if my mother was gonna come to visit me at school, I'm like, oh no, everyone's gonna see. Yeah. But it's like, it's not like they didn't know. I think because I was probably the highest yellow person in the class. But she was very, still is very passionate and very strong in her personality. Mm-hmm. And I think that carried over to me. I was like, there's nothing to be like concerned about,
Right.
And but I got called names like Oreo and like things like that, and
Oreo,
because I was black and white,
right,
half breed, or like mutt and stuff like that, and it was like, so there were times like I didn't really feel accepted probably by either race, but I always defined myself as a mixed girl,
right,
a mixed woman now, and I always feel like I identified very wholly with that. And my mother was very accepting and promoting of anything I wanted to do as far as like my hair, which back then I didn't want anyone to see it big and curly because I was like, no one has this hair. I don't want anyone to see it.
Right.
And but then you get to a point where, you just accept it and love it. And it's like, I don't know why I didn't do this when I was younger.
Wow. Was your dad very involved?
Not very.
Okay.
I mean, I knew him, and I would see him when I was really younger, like every other weekend. But as I got into my teenage years, and I was like hanging out with my friends, so I didn't really see him as much and stuff like that. But but he was very promoting of like your natural hair and being very natural and like and stuff like that. And he was a musician and writer as well, so he had a lot of influence on me in that regard.
Oh, that's beautiful. So, I mean, you still communicate with them now?
Well, my mother, my father's dead.
Oh, he dropped out.
Yeah,
okay.
He died in 2004.
Wow.
So I don't obviously get to communicate with him.
Right.
But
he was a baby.
Yeah.
Wow.
But my mother I talk to all the time, and I'll be seeing her actually in 2 weeks.
So she is still in New York?
Yeah, she's still in Brooklyn. Yeah.
Okay.
Same place I grew up in.
Yeah?
Mm-hmm.
Wow, that is a beautiful thing right there. So now you're in Florida, you're liking the weather and all that stuff. What was your first move as far as work go?
So once I graduated, I knew I wanted to work in a hospital. The like a typical 9-to-5 didn't appeal to me. I wanted to work like 3 days, like 3/12s like we do, and have time off to do the things that I was really passionate about, like the arts and my writing and things like that. So I went to the hospital, and I was on a rehab unit for about 11 years, and actually just switched a few months ago to a step-down ICU unit.
Wow.
And it's been good for me.
When you say a rehab unit, does that mean like people that is in rehab?
Yeah, they were in rehab for like strokes, brain injuries, post-trauma, spinal cord injuries, hip and knee replacements, that kind of thing. Oh, so it was really, what was nice about that unit was that people were at the end of their stay usually, like where they were about to go home or go to a lower level facility. Right. And I got to really see them progress well in the time that I had them. And I built a lot of good friendships there. It was like a family to me. And so it was a big deal to go, but it was like time for me to learn some new things.
Well, what's the one unique case that you can think of in that time span that you...
Well, there was a gentleman that he was quite young. He was in his early 20s, and he had Guillain-Barré. It's like this progressive neuromuscular condition that sometimes you can get it from like a flu shot.
Wow.
And he came in not really being able to walk because you're like paralyzed from the feet up.
Wow.
And it can be life-threatening if it reaches your respiratory muscles because that's what you use to breathe.
Right,
but it didn't reach that for him, and he couldn't walk well. And within about maybe 2-3 months, he was able to walk out with a walker. And so those kinds of things make the job rewarding.
Yeah.
There's obviously, negatives to being in a hospital, but generally, especially on that unit, I got to see a lot of rewarding cases.
Yeah. Is there anything you say to yourself in the morning before you go to work, knowing what you got to deal with for 12 hours?
Something interesting that I do on my Snapchat, I do this thing called the pre-work prep.
Okay.
And I just play very uplifting music, and I just blast in my car and just like sing it and kind of dance.
Yeah.
And then I'll might say a little message like, I'm going in here to help these people. Like, I might be the only positive thing for them that comes out of being in a hospital, because nobody wants to be in a hospital unless you're there to have a baby or some elective procedure.
Right.
This is a negative time for these patients' lives and their families. So whatever I can do to make that even just a little better and be like, I had a great nurse.
Yeah.
that's what's important to me.
I like that.
Yeah.
That is beautiful right there. So now you have 4 days out of the week to work on your craft.
Right.
What was the first craft you decided you wanted to start working on to get good at?
It would probably be my writing, and that's because that's something I've never really stopped doing since I was a child. It just carried over, but I wanted to be a little more, have a little more intent behind my writing. So, writing poetry that could be delivered spoken and not just something you would read, and so that involves writing it in a way that it has a certain cadence to it.
Right.
So it's not just something your eyes are following, but something you hear and you can feel differently.
Would you say if you find yourself in a moment where you really want to vent, you just go to writing out all that?
Yes. Writing, I think, has always been for me like a release. That, along with music, has always been something that I use. It's like it's reflective of a lot of usually what's going on in my life. Sometimes it's inspired by my own experiences, friends' experiences, something I might read or watch. But writing is something I really wanted to get better at. And I felt like I was good at it, but not where I wanted to be fully. So I started doing more of that. And then I always wanted to have a podcast too. So that was something I kind of looked into as well.
That is lovely. Now, you have this eye to capture moments or vibe. What put you in the headspace to wanting to do something like that?
Like, what do you mean exactly?
Like when you start taking photos of just different...
my photography. So I can't even tell you what inspires. I might just be walking. Yeah. And I'll just see something. I'm like, oh, this I have to capture this moment. Is something I felt, and I want to be able to look at again. Okay. And like other people should see this. Right. And so that's or the light is hitting this a certain way, or look at that shadow, or something like that is what kind of inspired me with my photography.
That is amazing. Now, with you being here, your mom there, did you guys ever like communicate quite a bit, like once you got into the medical field? Yeah, well, we maintain pretty good communication. Sometimes on my way home, my mother usually likes me to call her on the way home from work. And that sometimes is like my decompression time. And so I'm like, I'll try to do it, but sometimes she wants to have heavier conversations than I want to. And after spending like 12 hours, giving care, it's kind of like, I just want to listen to music and be silent. You're like, I don't want to talk, Mom.
But then I also, want to value the time that I have with her, because there could be a time I won't be able to get that call or give that call. So then I think that too, and I'm like, well, I can get my decompression later. I'll figure it out.
Wow. Was there any siblings?
Yeah, so I have an older brother and a younger brother, and I have 4 sisters when my father remarried. Yeah, wow. And they're all over the country in different places, but my brothers are in New York. Okay. So I usually see them quite often.
So you have quite a bit of siblings.
Yeah.
Well,
yeah.
So you 2 brothers, though, you grow closer with them.
Right, because I was raised in the same house as them. So so we're very close.
Was it very protective of you?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, even my younger brother, which is funny because, when I was growing up, I was his protector, and I still feel like I am because I'm his older sister. Yeah. But there's certain things that he'll be like, "Oh, I don't know if I want you to do that," or I'm like, "What are you saying? Like, I'm older than you." But it's just the brother in him, Yeah. And then my older brother, yes, he's very. If I have any issues with anyone, he's like, "What do you want me to do about it? Like, just let me know. I'll take care of it for you." Wow. Yeah, he's very protective of me.
When did parenting happen?
Like, you mean as far as age?
No. Yeah, when you became a parent.
So in my early 20s. Okay. Yeah, is when I had my daughters, and they're big
daughters.
Yeah, I have 2.
So you have 2 daughters.
Mm-hmm, 2 daughters.
I know you guys are looking right now and be like, she don't even look like.
I have 2. One is actually going to be graduating from college next month. What? With a bachelor's in psychology, and then the other one just started nursing school like I did.
What is happening right now, people? Okay, so you're saying both girls are in their 20s?
Well, one is 19.
One's 19.
Yeah, the other one's 22.
22?
Yeah.
Well, you're not 40 yet, though, so you had them early.
No, I am. I'm 43.
Man! Oh, my goodness. That is amazing.
Yeah.
Wow. 43?
Yeah.
Looking like 33.
I guess. I still feel like probably 28. Like,
There
that's
you
what
go.
I feel like.
Yeah.
I feel like I'm even more active than I was probably in my 20s.
Yeah.
So for me, age is really just a number. Like, it's just a thing that changes as the 365 days go by.
Yeah.
But I feel like I do more and more each year. Like, age doesn't mean anything for me.
What one poem that you wrote that brought emotions?
Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Every young person carries a story of hope, of struggle, of dreams waiting to rise. But in too many underserved communities, those stories go unheard.
At ease, Inc. Everyone has a story. We believe every voice deserves a chance. Through mentorship, empowering programs, and storytelling workshops, we help youth discover their purpose, strengthen their mindset, and build a future they can be proud of.
From classrooms in Jamaica to communities across Southwest Florida,
EHAS is changing lives,
one story at a time.
but we can't do it alone. Join us, become a mentor, volunteer, donate, help us fuel the next generation of leaders, creators, and change makers.
Visit EHAS.org today, because when you help a young person share their story, you help them change their world.
Probably one that is about like my upbringing in New York and how certain things in my environment as well, like internally and externally, affected me. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, would you say that had to do with the kids that you taught were your friends, or?
No, probably the neighborhood I grew up in, and it was a lot of drugs in the neighborhood at that point in the 80s in New York, and so a lot of violence at that point, and then just growing up with my father not being around and those kind of things. So I wrote a poem about that. I think I've delivered it once at an open mic event.
Okay.
Yeah.
You know, people watch TV a lot of time. They see like these different scenes in New York where kids are out in the street playing. Was you ever one of those kids?
I was always that kid.
Yeah?
Every day I was out around the corner doing either bike riding, trying to learn how to skateboard, running around with the boys, doing all these active things. Like I was very involved in like neighborhood fun.
Wow.
Yeah, playing in the fire hydrant in the summer.
Yeah.
I was never in the house. That's probably, carried over to me now. Like I always say like back then I would kind of travel around Brooklyn.
Yeah.
And now I like to travel like around the world. Like that's my, me as an older person, just doing the same thing.
Growing up like in your teenage years, what boy band stood out for you?
What?
Boy band.
Oh, boy. Boy, I would maybe NSYNC. NSYNC, I guess. I don't. Yeah, probably NSYNC because I really like Justin Timberlake.
Yeah.
But I was more hip hop.
Okay.
Not as much boy bands and like. Yeah.
So you like the Biggie, the Nas.
Yeah, but like more, or even like Tribe Called Quest.
What? You went far back as that.
Yeah.
Okay. I keep forgetting that he's up in age, people.
But Biggie, yes, because obviously, he's from Brooklyn. And I even got to meet him once at this mall
Did you?
in Brooklyn. Yeah,
That's
before
awesome.
they were big. Him and Lil' Kim and stuff. But yeah, Biggie, yes, I love. But Tribe Called Quest is probably like my favorite.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
Like they represent like hip hop.
They rep
like,
the hip hop. Huh?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Wow. Now you got this thing when you do your skating where what is that leg twisting? What is that called?
Well, I don't know the name for it.
Oh, it does have a name.
It's just like I don't know, some kind of, it's like a crisscross something with I don't even know the name for it. The things that there are names for, some of them I haven't completed. I don't feel accomplished in yet. Like the crazy leg, I've just been trying to get that for like years.
Yeah.
But there's some moves that, there's the G slide and things like that, and like the zero. Certain skaters will know what I'm talking about, but the crisscross, I don't know.
Okay. If you get taken on a date, ice skating or roller skating, which would be more suiting for you or impressive?
Either one, but I'm gonna say roller skating because ice skating is cold.
Yeah.
But I do that as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've gone. I used to go ice skate every weekend in New York in the winter. So
now you're good on the blades.
Yeah, I'm better on the blades on ice skates because of roller skating though.
Okay.
Yeah, because now I've gotten a lot more comfortable on wheels, so the blade is not as big of a deal.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
I've always had people ask me like, why is females okay with an alpha male? What would you say on that?
I think the confidence they generally display, their ability to handle things without you having to be concerned about it, their assertiveness, usually a gentleman-like quality, responsible, probably those things. But what's funny is, the other day I had made this post and someone commented and said that they think that I like, it was some other kind of description of a male that was like not alpha, but something else. And I'll have to think of it and get back to you. But it was like, I looked it up and it was actually seemed a little better than the alpha.
That was better than an alpha male?
In a way, yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't remember what it was. That's a problem. But it was like, it was sometimes the alphas based off of what I read and as opposed to this other one could come off more like they want attention more than a woman would like. Right. And I think it was a post about like where they say that say if you saw a man sitting in VIP and he's with a bunch of girls and he's looking at you, and it said that the woman would generally be drawn to this man because he's surrounded by all these girls, but yet he's looking at you and it seems like, oh, like you made the cut kind of, but and a woman wants, it said a woman would want a man that a lot of women want. Right. And I can understand, like I said in my post, I can understand the logic behind that, but that also could pose issues. Like later on, it's like, why was he surrounded by all these women and things like that? So I said, I'd probably be more drawn to the man sitting alone, just observing the room, not necessarily sitting with a bunch of women. Right. And that would be more attractive to me than that. Right. So that was what the post was. And somebody commented about this other label that wasn't alpha, it was something else. I've heard like arguments around that type of conversation, and to a lot of female defense, they're saying like guys that no one is around, something could be wrong with them. Like why is no one talking to him? And I like, that's why I said I can understand the logic, because it's like, why is he sitting all alone? Yeah. But I think it's also shows his confidence that like he doesn't need to have anyone around. Right. It's not like he's sitting there looking like, like withdrawn. Right. That's one thing. But if he's sitting there, sitting up, his posture as well, he has a drink or whatever, and he's just sitting, just watching. It's also his demeanor, not just, he's just sitting alone. It's just, I would be observing too, like, why is he sitting there alone? Maybe I would be looking at the same thing, but I don't think I would think something's wrong with him. Right. But just how is his posture and demeanor, like I said, while he's sitting there by himself. Movie night. What one movie would you go to? Oh, gosh. Interstellar.
Interstellar.
That's one of my most favorite movies, which I'm actually going to watch soon because I watch it usually twice a year.
Yeah.
But I love things that have to do with space.
Okay.
And other galaxies and planets and things, and that movie really does it for me. I love it.
So the creativity in it was pretty good.
Yeah, Christopher Nolan, he's one of my favorite directors, and the way he did that movie was just impeccable to me. I thought it covered a lot of emotion. It was like edge of your seat. There were a lot of there was sadness, there was love. It was like all that kind of stuff.
Wow. Who would you say is your inspirational female singer?
I like Jhené Aiko.
Do you?
Yeah, I think she embodies a lot of. If I could sing, I could sing.
Right.
But I can't sing well.
Okay. You don't feel you could sing well.
No,
okay.
I don't think I can sing well. There's some things I'm honest with myself, and I'm not going to go that route. I think she embodies. She's a singer that I would want to be if I were a singer. Like her writing, the things she sings about. Right. I really, I like her. Her lyrics are really impressive to me, and the way her melodies are intertwined with those, I really enjoy.
I like that. Mm-hmm. Does anyone ever tell you that you ever look like Alicia Keys?
Yes. Especially when my hair is braided.
Yeah.
I get that all the time. And I think also because she's from New York and we're around the same age and she's mixed, like it's a lot of similarities between she and I.
So the big...
Without the Alicia Keys money.
There you go. So this is a big moment of the show, right? So, everyone fell in love with your voice on the Stories to Create podcast. Mm-hmm. How did that even happen? Walk us through that. What happened? How did you become the voice of the Stories to Create podcast?
Well, I'm not sure where you heard my voice, but I mean, except for my posts and poetry and things like that.
Right.
And then you reached out to me and told me you were looking to update your intro.
Yes.
And I was like, sure.
Yeah.
I'm game. I'm down. And then you sent me, what you wanted me to say, and I put my as my old best friend Griff would say, my dream voice on it, and that was it. And then I think I sent it to you.
Yeah.
And then you put it on the intro.
Yeah.
And then I was like, maybe change the volume a little bit. Remember, I was like,
yes, you did.
Up the volume a little bit and down. Put the volume down of the background sound, and then that was it. And then I listened to it. And I was like, it was great.
Yeah.
I think it really enhanced what you're doing.
Yeah. That was beautiful right there. Yeah. So, you're on the show. Of course, our listeners are going to be like, okay, you're going to have her do one of her piece. Do you feel like doing one of your piece?
Yeah, I can do one.
Okay.
Do you have a preference, like what kind of theme you want it to be?
Well, if, let's see, we're going into a festivity. Well, we're in festivity month, and then we're going into another festivity month. So I think it's really like the good vibe.
Good vibes.
One of the vibe that you're in. Give us a vibe you're in when you're going to work. Like before you go to work, like, okay, today I got to do 12 hours. This is the energy I'm trying to go in with.
Let's see. So, a lot of my poems they're like either like about love or like say you see someone that you like, you catch a vibe with.
Ooh.
Maybe I'll do something like that.
Catch a vibe, yes. Let's catch a vibe.
Okay. So this one is actually called Caught Your Vibe.
Mm-hmm.
I caught your vibe. I can't lie. Even with your light-handed throw, I caught it. Thought I should let you know. I had to. Now, can I have you? May I use my literary tongue to entice you? Have you ever been on a mind trip? Or would you like to? Just let me know, love, and I got you. Food was meant to be shared, and my mind has a table for two. And I want you there. My palate is well seasoned, and for multiple reasons, it's you it wants to savor. I want to know your flavor. I want to know your dreams and if they're about me, because if not, I'm sure I could make an appearance if you just let me. I mean, sleep is made for rest, but I'm sure you wouldn't contest it. I'll admit it, you got me open like a 7-Eleven, and if that's a crime, call me a felon, arrest me. Lock me up and throw away the key, because baby, it really won't matter. I feel like our connection goes beyond a cell. I mean, that's just what I gather. Your eyes are speaking languages I can feel in my soul, translating stories that have yet to be told, and I want to read them like a book. Spend time on each page, travel into your soul with just one look. Steal your heart with my eyes now. Have I got you hooked?
Wow, bars. Bars. That's dope right there.
Thank you.
Oh my goodness. So, over the years, we've seen all these different love stories, and then I was seeing this thing the other day where they were talking on different eras of like the 90s, 2000s. Which era you think have done a better job with telling a love story, in your opinion?
I think the 90s,
okay.
Because I think, like R&B back then spoke volumes.
Right.
Guys would pour their hearts out in their music to the woman that they yearned for,
right.
Weren't afraid to be on bended knees and things like that. And now things like that would be called simping, and it's like, I'm not doing that.
Right.
Back then it didn't matter, I think. And then like we had certain rom-coms and things like that. Like, I don't feel like you have that same feeling now in movies or in music like we had then. So,
because, they've said in relationships a lot of times, the male is who approach the female first. Would you say we're in a different time now where women also do the approach first as well?
Yeah, I think there's been a lot of role reversal or role initiative taking with women not being in the backseat as much anymore. Like some good and some bad. Where now they're like, if I like you, I'm just going to approach you. And I think that's there's nothing wrong with that, because men can put themselves in a place of rejection at times because they have to do that, and a woman now can do the same thing.
Right.
But sometimes I think it's nice to be on the receiving end. It seems like that chivalrous kind of thing where the man comes to the woman and tells her, I'm interested and stuff like that. But I'm not against it. I think either way it can go.
Either way is good. So there's a thing now, and maybe for the last 5-6 years, we've had like all these different cases where the females are saying, hey, we need to be on the same level as the guys. What you think created that and like erupt that for the craving of a woman being at the same level?
I think that my opinion is that women have gotten to the point where they don't want to be on the receiving end of negative treatment as much from men. I don't want to just say it's just from that, but I feel like women kind of got tired and sick of being, treated a certain way, and like that. Now they're just like, well, I'm just going to do it too. Right. And it's like, I don't think two wrongs make a right. Like you should join in, but I also understand the anger and hurt that comes with being hurt. And so then it's like, well, I'm just going to act the same way. And now it's like, well, now the women are doing what the men did. And it's like, what's happening,
Yeah.
But I think that I don't know where, things are going to go as far as relationships and things like that, because it seems like the way the dating scene is going, people are just in for like a lot of instant gratification. And if they can't get their needs met, then it's like, I'm done.
Yeah.
I just read this post the other day about situationships and how that nobody even heard of that when I was younger. A situationship. It was either you were together or you weren't.
Right.
And now it's like, we're in a situationship. It's just like a title for some no-name relationship.
Right.
But the post was saying how people went from let's meet the parents to just meet my needs. And if you can't, peace out.
So that could almost sound like a situationship is an open relationship.
Yeah, because it's a situation. Like there's no no one knows what they are. So you can kind of do what you want, either one. Yeah. While there's feelings, while you're being intimate, but you're not. There's no clear cut lines or boundaries. Right. And so it's just like I guess back then, like back in the days when people were just not even the days, but a few years ago on Facebook when people just have it's complicated. Yeah. Instead of single or married or whatever. It's like that's what everything is now. Everyone's just in situationships. Yeah.
Situationship. I don't know if I have paid attention to that, but that is quite interesting. If a guy said, you know what, Dreeme, I want to be in a relationship with you, but I have little craves every now and then where I'm gonna mess with this girl, I'm gonna mess with that girl. What would you say?
I would do what I just did just now. I would laugh. You're talking to the wrong woman. Because you're not being in a relationship. Right. To be in means you're in. That's not with one foot out.
I like what you just said, and I think you should say that again. Did you guys just hear that?
To be in is to be in, not with one foot out. Because if you come to me, you're taking the initiative to come to me and say, I would like to do this with you. Right. But I want to do this. Yeah. That's not what I'm about. Right. Maybe there are women like that, but then you don't want to be in something, or you just want to enjoy me. Yeah. But you also get to it that also it's like I'm not one option of many. Right. I am the option. The choice. That is it. Yeah.
That is rocking right there. I like that. In where we heading right now with everyone kind of understanding the language around inclusion and the different genders now, how do you feel we're doing? How do you feel society's doing with that right now?
I think it's ridiculous. Honestly, I think there's. Yeah. I mean, it's my opinion. Yeah. People can say what they want. There's too much now. Yeah. It went from sexual orientation was just you were heterosexual or you're homosexual. Right. Then there's bisexual. Then there's pansexual. Then there's
who?
Pansexual. I think it's like pan usually means everything. So it's like I guess everything. But isn't that bi? Because there's only two kinds. Yeah. But then there's like a new name for every orientation almost every few months, and it's like there has to be some kind of limit to that. To me, like I understand including everyone, but like it's becoming, I think, too much. Yeah, that's just my opinion.
No. I like that. I think with everything that is happening, and I think the voices and how groups are. And I think that's one of the things that leads a lot of decisions now is the groups, isn't it?
Right. And it's also confusing. Right. Like the children growing up now have almost too much to decide what they want to be. Right. And then there's some allowance from parents. I don't know if I want to get into that too much. But, right. But it's I think it's confusing for kids to know even what they want to be. And I'm not talking about like careers, but like, there's all these sexual orientations. There's just too many things that can confuse even me. Like I don't even know all the names, like I said, of all the sexual orientations and things like that. So like I said, I understand including, but there needs to be some kind of compartments that stop at some point where it's like, no, we've made the names and that's it. Not, there's another group of people that like this, so now there's a name for you and there's a name for you, you know what? So
the listeners have heard you talk on how you love writing. What would you say is your next big project when it comes to writing?
Well, I'm writing 2 books right now. Okay. And one is like my baby. That it's one I've been writing for a few years that I took a pause on the year of COVID just because of a lot of loss and anxiety and stress. And I couldn't write, but that year I did more of my podcast. But that's a book of poetry and prose, different poems and things that some things I've gone through, some things I relate to as far as my life and childhood and upbringing up until now. And it's a lot about how we can, things invade us that affect us as children, either internally or externally in our environments or homes and things, and then how we conquer those things, and then how we rise from it. So it's going to be divided into like 3 different themed elements. And then I'm also writing a children's book.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
With the poetry aspect, when you do a stage performance, is there any type of preparation you do before you hit the stage, or you just hit the stage?
A lot of deep breaths. Okay. I don't really like being the center of attention and being where everyone is just watching me. I'm better like one-on-one situations, but I do enjoy the deliverance of my my poetry. But so it's just, I do like to memorize them. I don't prefer to hold my phone and look. I like to deliver it where I'm looking at my audience and connecting. And it also, when I memorize it, I can pace myself a little better. Right. So I kind of do that and just, stay hydrated and just try to just relax myself, because like I get a little anxiety with stages and things like that. But I like doing it. But that's kind of my preparation, just memorization and relaxation.
What would you say to that little girl that writes a lot but don't feel like it's going to go anywhere, or don't feel like her voice is important or what she's saying is important?
Keep writing, never stop, and you never know where it will take you. And just because others don't hear you doesn't mean your voice isn't loud. I like that.
For listeners and everyone that want to find you, how can they find you?
So on Instagram, it's just Dreeme, Dreeme. And then I have my website is dreamelife.com, so it's spelled the same. And then on all the places where you can hear podcasts, Dreamcast is the name of my podcast, so Dreeme cast. And then SoundCloud, I'm on there. I have an album that I did on there. And I think that's it.
Wow, that is a beautiful thing right there. Well, you have created a story with us. You've created a few stories with us. This is good. There you guys have it. You can't say I didn't do nothing for you guys. You have heard the voice, Dreeme. I want to thank you for being on the show today.
Thank you for having me.
Yes, this was beautiful. Until we do this again, where you guys hear another unique individual with an amazing story right here and EHAS Club. That was beautiful.
Thanks for tuning in and downloading this episode of Stories to Create. We appreciate you being part of this growing community of storytellers and listeners. If today's conversation inspired you, please share the show with friends, family, or anyone who could use a little motivation in their journey. A special thank you to our sponsors, EHAS Organization, Cornell Bunting LLC, and Nostril Cheese Chase for supporting the mission and making this podcast possible. To learn more about our work, upcoming projects, and how you can get involved, be sure to visit www.hisinkorg and www.cornellbunting.com. Until next time, keep creating, keep growing, and remember, your story has power.